Hey guys, welcome back. So I alluded to it a couple videos ago, but we're finally going to do a little bit of work on the red Nova here. So we'll see if we can get a little bit of air in these back tires, and we'll use my Christmas present for my wife, see if we can get it out here and show it to you a little bit. So what we have here is what I believe to be mostly original 1973 Chevy Nova. It's got the SS grille, and I mean that's about it. There's no other real badging on it. It looks to be optioned similar to what an SS could be, even though at the time I believe the SS was just a kind of a cosmetic thing. You could order the SS stickers and grill and all that stuff with any engine, but this is a 73 that I got. I actually traded for a guy. I've had this thing about 10 years, and I had actually been trying to sell a 1992 Dodge Ram Charger, and at the time I told myself that I was only going to sell it. I didn't want to trade for anything else. I needed the money and not another vehicle until this guy in Kansas messaged me and said, hey, what do you think about a Nova? Well, it just so happened to be that the 68 to 72 Nova had been the car that I'd been wanting for a long time. And while this technically wasn't a 68 to 72, it's very close, and the budget allowed the 73. So we ended up trading. And so I didn't get any money out of the deal. I traded for another vehicle with no more money. But I think I came out on top of the deal. After 10 years, if I were to sell this, this would be worth much more than what that Ram Charger is now. So I'm doing pretty good. So I've had this thing running. It had been in storage for a while. And then as I got the shop built, it moved down here, so I didn't have to pay storage on it anymore. It is a 350 small block Chevy with a turbo 350 transmission. It does have a 342 rear end that, if I remember correctly, it is a Positrack rear end. But one of the best things about this car is that it's complete. So many of these cars, Novas in particular, people start working on them and they get them as a project car or whatever, and they just go to tearing them apart. They blow them into a million pieces, and then they want to sell all the million pieces to you as a car. But this one's pretty complete. It's not perfect. It's got there's a pretty good sized hole in the back floorboard you can't see right now, but there is an interior there that's salvageable. We do have some pretty good cancer around this back wheel on the quarter panel and to the back here. On the opposite side, while it looks a lot better, I think it has been replaced, and I'm sure it's been replaced actually, and it's going to need the same before too long. Underneath this trim, you can tell there's a little bit of rust starting, and there's a couple places you can see where the Bondo's coming out, and it's pretty thick a couple places. So, but that's not going to stop us from driving it. There's an event coming up that our local VFW puts on as a fundraiser. I'd really love to have this car ready for that. I don't know that it's going to happen with the house project. I really can't afford to give much time or money to this project, but we're going to chip away at it and see what we can get done. I'm going to work on it some in the evenings and see if maybe we can get it there. So this is the 350. It's kind of tired, but it's not in too bad a shape. Before I got it, somebody had put an aluminum intake manifold and a set of hooker headers on it. I had done quite a bit of work to this. I've had that intake off. It was painted at one time. We sandblasted it, cleaned it up. I painted the valve covers and stuff. I rebuilt that carburetor, so it's just a quadrajet carburetor. But I had rebuilt it. I rebushed the throttle shafts and did a bunch of stuff. So it was running pretty decent. That's actually a Pontiac carburetor. I found that out looking up the numbers for the carburetor kit, but one easy way to tell is the fuel inlet is straight in from the front, and with the Chevy water neck, normally that's a problem. So the Chevy carburetors, generally the fuel inlet comes out from the side at 90 degrees, but just a little bit of trivia there. So we've got several things we need to do to it to get it up and going and roadworthy. The very first thing you may notice whenever I open the passenger or the driver's side door there, I want to get some hinge bushings and new pins put in, because every time I open the door, that door panel drags on the sill, and it's going to break off one of these times, and those things aren't cheap. I want to save as much of this as I can, being as this is a budget deal. So that is going to be project number 1. So here are the culprits. There's one hinge pin right there, and the other one is down in there. This is going to be really tough to show if I can, but first I'm going to get that E-clip off of there. The other one just fell off in my hand. There we go. Alright, let's see if I can get this with just a tap or two to at least come loose. Yep, that's pretty good. Now, probably not going to be able to get my hammer in for this one. Alright, plan B. Alright, we got that bottom hinge pin loose. As it turns out, the pin was moving, but it was stuck in the top of the hinge. The hinge was just flexing. So, see if we can get it the rest of the way out. Okay. So we got the bottom pin moving. Not fast though. Okay, we're just about, I think, to maybe get this. There it is. Okay. Now, I think the top one will be relatively simple. Yeah, it's pretty loose. Okay, we're loose. See if I can get up without knocking anything down. Okay, we've got everything all cleaned up so we can take a look at it, and this side, the car side, appears to still be in pretty good shape, which makes sense. This is the stationary side for the pin. So the pin presses into here, there's a knurl, it presses into here, and this pin stays stationary, and then the door with the bushings is what spins on the pin. So no reason to expect any damage here, but I wanted to look it over. While I'm at it, I don't have a new roller with a spring, but I'm going to replace that one, or at least I'm going to take that one out right now while it's easy, and then get a new one that I can just, they're fairly easy to pop back in, even with the door there. So over here on the door side, I got everything all cleaned up, hit it with some brake clean so I could see the bushings pretty good. And it looks like particular, this is the bottom hinge, so that's the bottom of the bottom hinge. You can see the flange of that bushing is worn pretty bad, so that one's pretty much definitely going to come out. The problem with these kits is, and I bought these a long time ago, I think they're still the same way though, they come with a pin and one bushing for each hinge. So there's 4 bushings here. So I think what I'm going to do is, if they come out fairly easy, I think I'm going to just pop out all 4 of these bushings, and so I can get them out here and measure them a little bit better and see which ones are the best and go back in with those. And if they're not very good, then I know you can get bushing assortments at like the help section at O'Reilly's or whatever, so I may do that. But I'm going to pop these out if they come out pretty easy, and then we'll get a closer look. Well, that went much worse than expected, but I'm glad I did it. So these did not fare well being driven out. The wall on those is just too thin to be able to drive back out. So I did some measuring on them. You might be able to see, especially if I put it back down here, like that one there is a little egged out. Not too bad. Measuring them, we're only about 5 or 10 thousandths oblong, so that's not too bad. That added to the 5 or 10 thousandths wear on these pins. That's what attributed to most of it. One thing that I did find out while I was kind of test fitting these new bushings is this one hole. I don't know if you can see that, but that's pretty loose. Everything else is nice and tight. I'm not sure why that one's loose. It doesn't really look like it's oblonged or anything, so I'm definitely on the hunt for 4 more bushings. I'm glad. I like the idea of replacing all 4 of them anyway. I just wish that I had them with me so I could work on it now, but I'll probably get one of those help assortments of bushings. I'm going to take some measurements here, make sure they've got what I need, and then we'll get this put back together and it'll be in better shape. Okay, new day, more parts. So I picked up this kit from O'Reilly's. 38374 is the part number, and it's just an assortment of door hinge pin bushings. It's got a couple of the same size as the originals that came in my other kit, and then it's got this one here that's a little bit oversized. So it is the same ID but slightly larger on the OD, and it looks like it will fit in our oversized hole here, I believe. It doesn't start in there too well, but it looks like it'll go. So we're going to give it a try. I've got a plan of attack here for installing these. So this is one of the old hinge pins, and I took a grinder and ground the knurling off the top here, so that'll slide all the way in there, and I can drive them in there. That way it'll help keep them straight and protect the bushing as I'm driving. So we'll give it a shot and see if this thing will go in here. Perfect. Uh-oh. I may not have ground enough on my pin. Don't take my bushing back out. There we go. Well, apparently it wasn't my grinding. So apparently that fit tight enough. But that's a little bit tighter on that pin. I'll have to see if I can get that back out, and then we'll see if it's too small for the new pins or not. Alright, crisis averted. I finally did get that other pin driven out, but looks like the new one fits just right. So it may have shrunk a little bit on the other pin. That other one's got some more corrosion and stuff on it, so that may have been all it was. one more little modification for our driving tool. So on this hinge, this bottom bushing, because of the angle of the door here, a full length pin, you can't slide it straight out here. So I just cut that one off short so we can get it out. So I'll use that, get this last one put in, and then we'll go see if we can wrestle this door back in place. All right, here goes nothing. Like up. I don't know how well you'll be able to see any of this, but oh, need to go back farther. Oh, that's not too bad. And even more. There we go. Oh, there we go. Oh, we're getting there. I might get a hammer and tap that a little bit. All right, the top is pretty much in. And so is the bottom. So let's take the jack off. Oh. Well, swinging easy. Guess I'll send them home. So we've got the hinge pins in, but as you can see, that little knurled portion hasn't quite gone in yet. So the last step is just to drive those on in, and we should be pretty well good to go. The detent roller that I took out, so I went to the parts store. I thought they would have one. They did not have the correct one. So for right now, we've just got that little detent plate set in the right place. I'll have to order the roller and I learned a kind of a cool trick for getting the spring in there, so at some point we'll get that put back in. Okay, hinge pins are installed. Let's see how it does. And then now for the real test. So, how about that? Apparently I misdiagnosed the problem. After looking through there and sticking this GoPro in to watch it, I think I know what's going on. So, this edge here is supposed to fit kind of behind this trim piece, not go past it anyway, and that's what we've got going on right now. It's going over in front of this, and this side piece is actually what's pulling it back. So I think after looking at the passenger side door several times, I think the whole thing is that this clip is broken, and if it was there to hold that panel tight, I think we'd be okay. It'd be like the other side, and it wouldn't grab around that door panel or that interior panel right there. I thought it was the opposite way around. I thought that little clip was broken because it kept getting hung on the door, and maybe it was. Maybe previously it was grabbing on the bottom some too, and so we took care of that, and now it's just a matter of getting this taken care of. But it's a little frustrating. I was all excited for that to just work really well. So we'll probably get some new panels. I don't guess I need my headlight anymore. We'll probably get some new panel clips, get that put in there nice and tight, and I bet that will take care of the problem. But for now, I think that's going to take care of this video. Thanks for watching. Subscribe so you can see more videos to come on this thing. Hopefully we can get this thing going in the next 20 days, well enough to go on this little charity run that the VFW is putting on. So thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.